Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. So a couple of weeks ago I made this little mini handbag for a blog hop. The theme was mothers, and as in the UK we had our Mother's Day in March. I didn't want to make a card, so I made a little gift bag. I thought this would be cute to give to a mum at any time, or anybody in fact. So I've used the boho indigo paper for this one, and it holds two little green and blacks chocolate bars. It would hold other things. I just like to make things to hold something, really. Kind of gives me a guide. So we got a little magnetic closure there, and I've embossed that with the old World Book embossing folder to give it a sort of a little bit of a leather look. So I'm going to make it again, but I'm going to bling it up. So I'm using some of the Ornate Garden DSP, because I thought I could still use that flower, because that would go quite nice with it. And then for this top wrap, I thought we'd use a bit of gold, and then that would be like a really classy sort of evening bag thing. And I thought instead of embossing, to make it look leather, I'd use the embossing folder that goes with the Ornate Garden Suite, this lovely floral one. Quite nice little florals there, obviously designed to match in with the paper. So I thought, let's see how we do that. And this bit is cut out using the stitched nested label dies, and it's got a little sort of straight edge on the back. And with the die set, you get this sort of straight edge. Now, it doesn't cut, it just impressions. So what I did was, well, I'll show you when I come to do it. I just made the impression and then I trimmed it off. Okay, so let's get started. We'll get started with building the base of the box first. So this square, well, it's not a square, it's a sort of rectangle. It's not a sort of rectangle, it is one. And it is 5 inches by 4.5. And we're going to do some scoring. So I've got my score board there. So we're going to put it on the short side, and we are going to score at 1 inch from each side. I just find it simpler, just swizz it round and score at 1 inch. And then on the long side, we're going to score at 2 inches from each end. And then we want to make some marks. So we want to mark at 1 inch, just a little mark, and at 4 inches. And we want to do the same on the other long side at 1 inch and 4 inches. And it's those marks that we want to draw little diagonal lines. So we're going to take a ruler, and we're going to go to where it intersects from where we've made that mark. We're going to score a little diagonal. I'm going to do this for all of them, and this is what gives us that fold. I've done quite a few little boxes and bags using this method in various sizes. So it is a method that you can use for lots of size boxes, and it's really a handy one to have and to use. So we're going to fold and burnish all of those. I think what's nice when you've got double-sided paper, that the inside looks pretty as well. It's like it's got a posh lining in the bag, which a blingy bag probably would have. And then we want to give these diagonal ones that we did a bit of a crease. So if we kind of pinch where they are, just to begin with, and then we'll give them a burnish afterwards. There we go. So what's going to happen is it's going to go up like that. So what I do is give that a crease now with my bone folder. So you fold it over. There we go. So you're folding it over like that, and then the creases come out like that, a bit like a mouth. Hello, how are you? So now I'm going to put glue on the funny shaped rectangle with the pointy bit to glue those sides down. Go over like that. So then once you've got this shape, you can then decorate it in any way you want. You can turn it into whatever you want it to be. Okay. So that's our bag. That's the basis of our bag. So now we need to make the flap over the top, and I say I'm using some gold foiling. So our gold foil paper, and I'm gonna cut this out. It's not quite long enough because it doesn't matter, because I'm then going to use this to go across where that end is. Okay, so I'm going to just do that in my die cutter. So I just thought I'd show you. So I cut that out. This is the largest of the nested dies, by the way. So then I'm just taking this straight edge and I'm just putting it sort of along the end bit there, and I'm going to just move it up slightly. So you've got like stitches on it, so just going down about 3 stitches, and then you kind of know that it's straight. You can kind of see it forms a nice right angle, and then it moves. Thank you for that. You can secure it with some washi tape, which mightn't be a bad idea, because with magnets, although this is a magnetic plate underneath, it does sort of jump about a bit. So secure that down there. With a bit of washi either side. That'll work nicely. And then now, and you just get an impression, you don't get a cut with this. Never quite worked out exactly why this is what it's for, but this is what I use it for. So now I always usually have a little bit of washi there on my die cutter. So you've got this sort of pattern, and then all I'm going to do is trim that off. But before I do that, I will emboss with this flower embossing. Okay, so that's it embossed. I'm just going to bring in my little guillotine. So there we have it. It's really quite pretty, and I'm just going to trim down just the other side of where that sort of stitching is. So that gives us a nice little bit of an effect there. So now we want to do some scoring on this so that it sort of folds round. So I put it on the trimmer with the point at the end there, and I'm going to score at 1.5 because that gives us a nice, that is 2 inches there, so we're going 1.5 so that it comes down the bag with a 1/2 inch there. So that's how I decided that. So we're going to score at 1.5, and then we're going to score at 2, which gives us 1/2 inch over the top. And then I actually think I've done that too long there. I might recut that. Thinking about it, let's have a look, see what I feel. So that would go over like that. Yeah, I've cut the back far too long, so that needs to be shorter. So I'm just going to sort that out. So I just thought I'd show you. So you want to come down the back there if you want some measurements. We've got, it's about 3/4 inch. Okay, so we've got 1.5 there, that's 1/2, 3/4, so that would be 2 3/4. It doesn't have to be exact, but if you were sort of measuring this, that's kind of what you'd do. I think I just did it by eye. I did make this a while back now, and suddenly realised I hadn't filmed it, and I need it for tomorrow. Ed's had some time off this month, and so I've been doing bits here and there as I can, and got to the stage when after a day out yesterday we got back and it's like, oh, I've run out of videos. So yeah, so I'll just trim that off like I did before. Yeah, so when I leave, I didn't actually write that bit of the directions down, so kind of forgot. But hey ho, not to worry. So there we go. Just trim that down. So now we've got, I'll trim that a bit better. Actually, I don't think that was very straight, Jess. That's a bit better. So that's now ready to go over, and it is just ever so slightly wider, but I think that's okay because I think it would be on a handbag. So that's that bit. That's quite pretty. So that gets glued to the back. You can put glue on these bits if you want to make it a little bit more stable, or you can leave it unglued, but you can put glue on these triangular bits if you want to. So glue on that flat bit. And I don't think it matters front or back of this. Pretty much all right. So we want the fold bit at the top edge, and then just stick it down. As it overlaps, you want to make sure that it's even, and that's how the bag's gonna go. Okay, so now we want the fastening. So I've done a little bit of a magnetic fastening. So there's a magnet under this flower, and there's a magnet on the other side of here, cunningly covered over by a bit of DSP that matches the underneath so that you can't see it. So that's what we're going to do. So we need to create our flower. So I've got these beautiful flowers from Pretty Perennials. I've got some Whisper White, I've got some Versamark, and I've got some gold powder. Not quite sure how this is going to turn out, so let's just have a little whirl and see what happens. So, and this is actually going to be quite hard to see as well, so stick that down, and then I might not actually, I'm thinking about it, I'm just going to do the outline, so I'm going to ignore that one. I'm just going to do the outline without filling it in. A, it would be really difficult otherwise, and B, actually it's only outlines on here, so that's what we're going to do. So a bit of gold embossing powder on there, and then we'll just heat that up with my heat tool. Get it hot. And there we have a little flower that kind of matches those. So I'm going to get that die cut out. So we've got our little flower cut out, and that looks quite pretty on there. So I want a magnet under there, so I've got my magnets here, and I'm going to get a glue dot, wherever it is. There we go. So pick that up with a glue dot, and stick it on here. So I've stuck it there up a bit from the corner because I want this to stick over it. And then we want one on the inside, so we get another magnet, and we want to check which side I want this on. So that's going to stick on the inside here, so we want the glue dot to go on the bit that's sticking to it. Oh, nearly at the end of my glue dots. I think I've got some more. Stuck that in the wrong place. It's overlapped, that's not what I wanted. There we go. So what I'm going to do is close it like so, and then have it on the end of my finger and go in. She says it's a bit tricky, but go in with my finger without knocking it off. Maybe if we go that way, it will stick to it. So put the magnet in there. It's so strong it will stick. So that's it. It's been adjusted in there. It's got a bit of a glue dot, so I can now stick it down, and that is holding it closed like so. Okay, so just want to stick a little bit of DSP over that. I had some scraps that I cut off. No, I didn't cut any off, Jez. That was in one piece, so I'll find some scraps. So that's some scrap from where I picked it off. So it's not going to be exact match, but I'm just going to take a piece off there and stick it over. So I'll just that will go over there quite nicely. So a little bit of Tombow just to secure it down, and then it looks pretty and you can't see it. The other one matched a lot better, but still okay. So that's like that. So now that goes over there and closes quite nicely. So now we need to stick that over the top. I do like to give a little bit of life to my flowers. I've got things that mould it, but you can just use the lid of this. I used to use the I can't actually do that because it sends my teeth funny. You can use the end of the other pokey tool that we used to have, or I've got these. So that just gives it a little bit of a dome to help it go round the magnet like so. So another little glue dot to stick that down on top of the magnet, and then we can stick that flower on top like so. Okay, and then what I did was I decorated the centres of the flower, and I did that by using this punch here, which is retiring, and it makes lovely borders, confetti flower border punch, but I've used it more for making little flowers like this. So I'm just going to cut a little flower to go in the centre of this flower, and then I'm going to use a gold gem to make it stand out. So just a little bit of Tombow in the middle there. Stick this on. And then we've got our little gold gems, and I'm just popping one of these in the centre of the flower to finish it off. And then all we need now is the handle. Now when I made this one, I cut my handle at 1/2 inch, so it was the same width. I've gone for 3/8 for this one, just to so that it sits on the inside as opposed to on the outside. So I still need those. So I've cut this at 3/8 by 4 inches, and I'm going to score at 1/4 inch at each side. So that we know where it's going to bend. So didn't mean 1/4 inch, because that would be there. I must have meant 1/2 inch. Might do 3/8 actually, and then it's a square. Let's do 3/8. There we go. Then we're creating a little square there. And then we just need our bone folder to curve this so that it bends round nicely. Without a bone folder doing this, you would get, it would look a bit, it wouldn't curve like that. You wouldn't get a nice neat curve. It would just be lots of bends and creases in it. And then that can just get stuck I stuck the other one to the edge, but I might stick these just on the inside of the crease bits. We've got ourselves a nice handle there. So I'm using Tombow because I want to make sure that we've got a good strong stick, because if you're going to put something in it, you want it to stand up. So open it up. I'm going to stick it there on the inside of the stitch line that we've got from the die cut, and then the same on the other side. It's obviously, it takes a little bit longer to stick on foil, so need to hold it for a little bit longer than you normally do with Tombow. Tombow normally sticks really fast, but it does take just a tad longer on foiling. There we go. And then I did the same thing with the little flowers to go on the edge there, as you can see. On this one, I was just thinking of maybe just putting some gold dots rather than the flowers. I'm going to audition. I'm going to see what I feel. Whether I want little flowers or just a gem. I think just a gem. Oh, do you know, I hate having decisions. Maybe I'll go with a flower. I might do slightly smaller flower. That one's slightly smaller. Yeah, I think that one fits in a bit better. Two little small flowers in there, and then we'll put the gold dots on top. That one's a full flower. I've got a little jar up there with little die cuts in, that, or punches that I have too many of. So just a little dot. Stick your flower on. Put slightly too much glue under that. And this one I probably haven't put enough. There we go. And then I'll put some blingy on it. So, running out of little ones. Might need to buy another packet. These are carrying over into the annual catalogue, so I might get some more. There we go. Need some more putty. There we go. And that's my little bag. My little blingy bag. So that's one for the evening, and that's one for the daytime. So yeah, hope you like that. You can see you can use it with different DSPs and you get different looks, and these little green and blacks go in nicely. Could also put a bit of jewellery in there, wrapped up in tissue paper. Don't you just love that? Whenever I do something like this with Ed, he just spends ages just listening to the magnet. Yeah, so hope you like that. I will put all the measurements and everything over on my blog. I will link to the original blog hop as well, so you can see what everybody else has done with a Mother's sort of theme. There might be a lot of Mother's Day cards, but I think in certain parts of the world you haven't had Mother's Day yet, have you? So so that might be handy. Okay, see you all again soon. There'll be links down below to the shop. The paper's on. It's reduced at the moment. The this punch is on while stocks last. This is going, and the nested dies are going as well. So yeah, check them out if you want them. Okay, bye for now.